Right. Happy week 3, everybody. For U.S. history discussion. Based on the reading and assigned videos, reflect on some ways that the Civil War era continues to affect our lives today, culturally as well as politically. Include your thoughts of what our country might be like without the events of the Civil War and Reconstruction, or if the outcome had been different. So for me, I just think back of, obviously the Civil War was over, our slaves and freeing slaves and getting to that point. And I think that even after, obviously the Civil War was over and slaves were, free and everything else, they weren't really free either. It took a while for all of that to come kind of to fruition. And, even in the 1950s, you had all the, Jim Crow and all those acts still in the South, and, segregation. And so it really took a while, but I think that the Civil War was a start. If that wouldn't have happened, I think we would be in a completely different place right now as far as that. And as far as the country recovering, and I don't know if the Civil War hadn't happened. Like I said, I think it would still be in that, and I don't think we'd be moving into a spot where there, obviously you wouldn't think there would be slavery now, but in the same point, when I thought about it more, you don't really know either what our outlook on that would be without the Civil War. I know it, kind of divided us quite a bit, and you think now too, I think even now with politics a lot, we're so far divided, it's almost scary to think that we'd almost go back to a Civil War just as far as divided as we are. It's almost, pretty referred to as like a powder keg right now waiting to go off, just with all the division and everything right now. And it's almost like history's kind of repeating itself, but you wouldn't think it would, but as far as not in the slavery aspect of it, but in just not on the same page politically on either side, and trying to come to an agreement or anything seems impossible now. I think as far as like how it continues to affect our lives today, I don't know if it does a lot. I mean, obviously we still have, there's still things that are, kind of racially motivated, and some thinking still, about how we are different as races. And, I don't necessarily agree with it, but, it's just the thinking right now that some of the nation has, and I don't think that ever really went away. And, some parents were, raise their kids to think the same way, and just get passed down generation to generation to generation. So I'm interested to hear what everybody else's thoughts are on it. Like I said, I kind of really took a deep dive and really tried to think about it, and it was it's different, but it's still the same in some aspects now too. So I just curious what everybody else thinks. I hope everybody has a good week 3 and a happy Memorial weekend, and I will see you next week.